Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make just a very simple, it's just a rustic white pizza. It's going to have mushrooms and onions and chicken. And I also thought if you're looking for stuff to use up your Thanksgiving turkeys, you could always substitute the chicken with turkey. But it's just kind of like a rustic white pizza. It's delicious. We've had it a few times around here, and it's truthfully a very easy meal. Alright, I'm starting out with just 2 saucepans or frying pans. In the one, I've used 1 whole stick of butter. I put half the stick in one and half the stick in the other. I'm going to put in 1 package of mushrooms, and I've kind of got a higher heat, but I'm going to switch it down to medium once they get kind of going. And I also have a sliced red onion that I'm going to put in the other pan. Now I am going to salt my onions, just a pinch or 2, kind of to taste. It helps with the caramelization process and the flavor. I'm just going to use it all. Alright, now I'm just going to kind of stir it up. I want my mushrooms and onions to kind of slowly saute. That's why I like to bring up the heat to kind of get everything going, but then I turn it down and just kind of a low and slow process until all of your mushrooms and onions are sauteed to your liking. You know, I feel like some people like them a little more done, others like it a little more on the raw side. I personally like mine a little bit more on the overcooked side. No shame in that game. It's kind of personal preference. That's why we cook at home, so we can cook things to order and to how we like them, and save a ton of money in the process. Alright, just going to give my onions a quick stir, kind of loosen them up a little bit. And like I said, it's going to be a higher heat, and once everything, like the butter's melted and everything kind of starts cooking, I'm going to turn my heat down. In fact, my mushrooms are already getting a little too hot, so I'm going to put it on kind of a medium heat. Watch it. If you feel as though it needs a little more butter, add a little bit more butter. I think these are going to be okay. There's a lot of moisture in those mushrooms. Alright, I'm going to bring you back when all of my mushrooms and onions have sauteed. Okay guys, my mushrooms and onions have just finished sauteing. I'm using a pizza crust that I bought in the store. It's actually just in the refrigerator section. I actually had a can malfunction. I went to pop it open and this part, the metal part, came off. And I actually had to cut down this side in order to get it out. And I actually cut my dough a little bit, but that's alright. We're going to work with what we've got here. I just pinched it together and we're going to roll with it. I'm going to put this in the oven at a preheated oven at 400 degrees for 8 minutes, and then we'll bring it back out and I'll put my toppings on. While it's baking, I'll bring you back and I'll show you how I make my topping. Alright guys, as my pizza crust is in the oven, I'm going to make what would be the sauce, I guess, of the pizza, but we're making a white pizza today, and it's actually not really saucy. It's kind of more cheesy. I have a container here, if I can get into it, of ricotta cheese, and now I have the whole milk ricotta, and this is a 15-ounce container. We're going to use all of it. There we go. And then I also have 2 cups of the shredded mozzarella. We're going to add that to it. I think this would be perfect for my sister. She likes pizza, but the red sauce gives her heartburn real bad. So if that's something that ails you about pizza, this would be perfect. I have a 1/4 cup of the Parmesan cheese. Now I just have the crumbly stuff that comes in the jar. However, if you have fresh on hand, that would be great too. I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit. Oops. There we go. Once we kind of loosen up the ricotta, it should be a little easier to get all those cheeses incorporated. All right, I also have a half of a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of basil, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Just gonna mix that up in there, kind of flavor our cheese a little bit, give the dish a little bit more dimension, while keeping it pretty simple if you ask me. All right, this looks pretty well mixed. I'm gonna set this aside, wait for my pizza crust to finish baking for those 8 minutes, and I will bring you back and show you how I dress this pizza. All right, my pizza dough has been in the oven for 8 minutes. Now I'm just gonna take my white ricotta cheese mixture and kind of gently spread it across that pizza. Be careful, your pan is going to be hot. You don't want to burn your fingers. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of a rustic look. Oh, I got some on my baking sheet. Cooking that dough a little bit is going to kind of firm it up so you can kind of spread your cheese mixture as evenly as you can. I think there's something, I don't know, classic about homemade looking dishes. You know, it didn't come out of the freezer section or someone else made it. Not someone else, I mean like a machine. It's homemade. It's not supposed to look commercial. All right. A little bit left here in my bowl. Just kind of fill in the gaps. Try to get it as evenly as you can. I think I'm thinking about it too much. All right, we're gonna give this get this ready for the chicken. Now I have a chicken breast here. We had roast chicken last night for supper, and so what I did with we ate one breast, and then we had another breast, and of course some more chicken left over, but all I'm using is one breast. Now if you have leftover turkey from Thanksgiving, this is where I would use it, guys. Or if you're trying to just make this meal because you want to make it and it looks good, just maybe cut up a chicken breast and kind of pan sear it, or even just roast a single breast in the oven. That won't be too difficult. But I'm using leftovers here. And of course, if you wanted to make this vegetarian, just leave the chicken off. We've done that several times, and it is delicious. This is kind of a big piece. I'm going to split it there. Now I also should have grabbed a spoon. That'll work. I have my mushrooms here, and I'm just going to kind of place them every so often. We love mushrooms in this house. They are delicious. And I've sauteed them just enough so they're not mushy. They're quite firm, but they're softened. The oven's gonna kind of finish the job for me. I like a little texture to my mushrooms. Feel free to get creative with this too. You know, you don't have to use the same toppings I am, but if you're looking for kind of a red sauce alternative, you can either use Alfredo sauce. That's what I do sometimes. But I really love this cheesy blend. I don't know, it just kind of ups the game, makes it taste a little more fancy. All right, I'm just gonna a couple more in the pan. They won't come out. There we go. All right, I've also got my onions here. Now they've been just kind of sitting in the butter in which I cooked them. That's okay, butter is flavor. And of course, when you don't have to do this in steps because you have to film it, it shouldn't take as long, and the onions and mushrooms probably won't be as cool. But that's okay, they're all gonna reheat in the oven, no big deal. Okay, I am gonna pop this right back in my preheated oven that was at 400 degrees. And I'm going to let this hang out for 15 to 20 minutes. I would keep an eye on it, kind of check it at the 15-minute mark, and if you're satisfied, go ahead and pull it out. If you think it needs a little bit more, leave it in for the full 20. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to bring them out of the oven. Alright guys, my pizza was in for about 15 minutes. The crust is like a nice golden brown around the edges. My cheese is all kind of cooked and melty, and it smells delicious in this house. We are going to get right into this pizza, have our supper, and call it a night. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. It's a great way to use up leftover chicken or turkey. And I know with Thanksgiving right around the corner, we'll all have lots of leftover turkey. So, if you like today's video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you like what I do here, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.